What is up, my One Piece fans? It's me, Mr. Morfetto, and today I want to talk about the Water 7 arc. This is my Water 7 arc review part 1. I actually am not done with the Water 7 arc just yet. I am 20 chapters, give or take, in. And I was going to review the entire Water 7 arc as a whole, but I am realizing that this bad boy is dense AF, and there's a lot to cover, and I feel like a 1-hour video talking about the Water 7 arc could be too long and maybe be a little all over the place, and I might miss some small details. So I thought, why don't I break this up? Why don't I break up the Water 7 arc? I wish it was a little more, I wish the arcs were a little less lengthy, I guess, because it's hard to remember all the small details, and there's a lot of small details in One Piece, I am realizing. And I feel like I miss a lot of them when they go so long. And I want to cover all the little things that I love so much about this franchise. And I know you guys love One Piece just as much as I do, if not more. So it kicks off in chapter 322. And Luffy and Nico Robin are no longer frozen, which is good. That was pretty epic, them getting frozen. And then once again, it brings up the whole idea of nobody dying in One Piece. The people in One Piece are very durable. I have seen other fans talk about how they kind of look at One Piece characters. They kind of have the Looney Tunes kind of gimmick, I don't know, where they can take major damage and keep on going, which is kind of crazy. A lot of the time they take on, like in Skypiea, Zoro gets shot in the leg, but then later, a few hours later, he's running across a battlefield, avoiding shots from another opponent, but he gets shot in the leg by like a bullet or an air bullet or some shit, and he keeps on going, and it doesn't matter. But if someone got shot in the leg, they wouldn't be running around for at least a week. And I know Zoro's a beast and whatnot. I'm almost want to predict that Zoro's got some kind of healing factor like Wolverine, but I assume that isn't the case because I think that would have been brought up at this point. But either way, so, chapter 22, they find a train that goes across the sea. Yeah, a train that goes across the sea. There's a frog that challenges the train. I don't know why, but there's a frog. Maybe it'll be brought up later, but there's a frog that challenges the train and does not get too far doing so. He gets his ass kicked by the train. But they meet a lady named Kokoro and her grandchild Chimney, and they explain that Luffy and the gang should go to the city of Water, Water 7, because they have lots of ship carpenters, and the Going Merry is kind of falling apart. It's interesting because as someone who's just dipped their toes into One Piece, I already know that they are going to either get another ship, or they're going to take the Going Merry apart and make it bigger and better, because I know there's another ship from pictures and whatnot that I've seen online. And that's very interesting. So I assume this is where that's going to happen in the Water 7, which is interesting as well, because when I first heard the words Water 7, I didn't think of a city called the Water 7. I assumed that there was like a group like the Akatsuki that called themselves the Water 7, and maybe they all have abilities that involve water. or they can manipulate water. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe there's a devil fruit that allows people to manipulate water, but that doesn't make sense because devil fruits make it so you can't swim. So you can't swim, but you can manipulate water. Seems wild. Seems like a cheat code in devil fruits, honestly. So they get to the Water 7 rather easily, rather quickly. They know the ship is falling apart. It's really interesting if you look at like pictures of the ship from far away in the manga. You can even see like damage on the ship or where they've repaired it over and over again, and that is interesting. It's like they're setting up. They're long ago. It felt like before even Skypiea, I think they were talking about how the ship is heavily damaged and it needs help. And I think that's really interesting that they set it up so long ago. A lesser anime, a lesser manga would have just brought it up way, like right before the arc was about to begin and just say, oh, the ship has taken lots of damage, remember? But I feel like they've been setting up this fixing of the ship gimmick arcs and sagas ago, like sometime around around the crocodile times, around the Baroque Works arc. That's when I felt they start talking about the ship falling apart. And it's true, like even when like Luffy took the mass and ran it into Baloo as a weapon and he ripped it off the ship. It's like, what are you doing? So they meet a group of carpenters, I guess you would call them, called the Water 7 shipbuilding firm, I guess, the Galley company. And they kick some before they even meet the Straw Hat crew. They beat up some other pirates who refused to pay them for the repairs they did. I believe the pirates were called the Mikazuki, captain of the big helmet pirate gang. I don't know, some wannabes that don't even come close to the Straw Hats we all know and love. They kick their ass rather easily, and they seem pretty badass, this Galley group of the Water 7. Luffy, Usopp, and Nami head into town to cash in the gold they got from Skypiea, which is really cool because they stole the gold, and I love that because it's very pirate of them to do. And sometimes this show gets rather insane with a lot of small details, like I mentioned earlier. And I feel like sometimes they don't do enough pirate stuff. But at the end of Skypiea, when they decided to steal the gold like pirates, it got me really excited. So now that they are in a place, a major town, a town called the Water 7 that was built basically underwater, reminds me a lot of Italy because they have to get around on these boats because there's not a lot of streets, and I thought that was really cool. And the boats are pulled by these like seahorses, and I thought that was really interesting. And Luffy and Usopp thought that was dope. And they have like food in this town, like water meats and water vegetables. I thought that was interesting. You know, another thing that's really interesting is a lot of people in this town are wearing masks. And it feels like they're setting something up. I know, like I said, I'm not done at all. I'm like a third through this arc. And there's people with masks on, and I'm getting interested about them. Luffy, Usopp, Nami, they're in town, and they're running around. We find out Nico Robin also went to town. Nico Robin, who was called out in the last arc, by the ice guy, who said, you are going to regret having her in your crew because she's kind of a biatch and she will probably betray you. And I'm interested to see if she actually does betray them. And I really hope it's not something like Nami and Arlong. Like there's some guy like Arlong that has something on her. Like her family is like in prison or something. I don't know. and she has to do bad things because he says so, or he'll kill their family. I really hope they don't play that same trope. They already did it with Nami. They don't need to do it again. Nico Robin is her own person, and she's pretty cool, and I hope she gets her own really unique backstory. But regardless, what's really cool is Zoro is the only one left on the ship because Sanji didn't want to stay on the ship with Zoro because they hate each other, and he wanted to go to town, maybe get some veggies, hit on some chicks. I assume that's what he's doing. But Zoro's left on the ship to guard the ship. Honestly, he's the perfect guard. He likes to sleep. He doesn't like people that much. He gets to chill. He doesn't really want to walk around. He likes to sleep a lot. I am curious if, like, the more damage he takes, because he took a lot of damage on Skypiea, does that mean if he sleeps more, that his healing factor kicks in? Maybe? Possibly? I don't know. Maybe, because he sleeps a lot. He's almost always asleep when there isn't anything going on and the rest of the crew is discussing important events. He pops up like, oh, hey, what's up? I'm sleeping. Shut up. And I think that's interesting because I feel like maybe his sleeping has something to do with his healing? I don't know. He's ambushed by a group called the Franky family, a bunch of weirdos who wear like gimp outfits, and they attack him, but he basically one-shots all of them, putting them down very quickly, goes back to napping. Nico Robin and Chopper are actually walking through town, just looking around. Why not? It seems like Nico and Chopper are having a good little adventure until they run into a lady. Well, I don't even know if it's a lady. It's just somebody with a lady mask on. She walks by Nico Robin and says, "I'm with the CP9." And then Nico Robin leaves Chopper as he's shopping for books or some shit and bounces and just says, "I'm out." Because someone says, "I'm with the CP9." What is the CP9? Am I going to find out what the CP9 is in this arc? Or is it something I'm going to find out way down the line? But I assume Nico Robin went with this mystery masked person. But before we even get to find out anything about that, Luffy, Usopp, and Nami go cash in the gold. The dude offers them a lot, like 100 million berries, until Nami's like, "Yeah, you're an effing liar, and this gold is worth way more than that." And then they get 300 million berries in 3 different briefcases. And then it becomes this really cool, not cool, but I don't know, I think it was really interesting that each one of the members, Luffy, Usopp, and Nami, all have a briefcase. And then Luffy almost loses his briefcase almost immediately, full of 100,000 berries, which he's worth bounty-wise, which is interesting as well. But they save it. They save the money, and now Usopp's carrying 2. But it almost feels like they're setting this thing up where they have all this money, and they need this money to fix the ship or buy other things, like a statue. Otherwise, it feels like it's just like cat and mouse game with this money. They run into the Galley company, ship carpenter Kaku, I believe his name is, and he's got a long nose. He kind of looks like a wooden man. He really reminds me of Pinocchio. Like, he legit looks like a wooden Pinocchio man. And they talk to him about the ship, and he's like, "Oh, okay, well, our mayor of the Water 7, you need to meet him, Mr. Iceburg, blah, 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 blah." Actually, they did talk to the lady at the train station about Mr. Iceburg, and she gave him a note so that they know that they're legit, and they will help pirates as well, but they will kick your ass if you do not pay up. And they really, you can't really go to the cops if they kick your ass because you're pirates. This dude is like, "Hey, you wait here. I'll be right back. I'm going to go to your ship and assess the damage." The dude sprints off the side of this gigantic, I don't know, wall. And the dude's a beast. I don't know. They call him Mountain Wind. He's the galley Dock 1 carpentry foreman Kaku. And that's very interesting. He's much, I don't know. I've noticed that a lot of the characters in this show, in this manga, in this anime, the ones that look the weirdest seem to have, like, the most power, or they surprise you the most. Like, he surprised me a lot. Then another thing is, so Sanji's running around buying vegetables. He does see Nico Robin walking around with the mystery person with the mask on. And she disappears somehow through a back alleyway that goes to... So where did she go? Who knows? So the dude... Another thing about this Kaku guy with the big nose, the Pinocchio-looking MFer, he shows up on the ship. Zoro's half asleep, wakes up, and sees him. He goes, oh, it's just Usopp. And then seconds later opens his eyes and is like, hold it, who the heck are you? And then earlier, Luffy thought it was Usopp, and he was with Usopp. And it seems like every time someone from the Straw Hat crew run into this guy, they assume he's Usopp because he's got a long nose. I really want to know why they drew this character. It's just a funny gag. It was one of the laugh out loud moments that one of the best laugh out loud moments I've seen in the manga so far. I love it. I really hope that this Kaku guy becomes more of a character throughout the series. I would love him on the crew, but he wouldn't really work because we already have Usopp. Or do we? So, we meet Mr. Iceburg. He's kind of a weirdo. Kind of a whiny weirdo kid. I don't know if he, grew up and became mayor because he was, the son of somebody. I don't know. There was something where he's got an assistant that's asking him that they have to do these appointments. And he goes, I don't want to. Like a whiny child. I just thought that was interesting. He's got a... assistant named Caulifla. I see Dragon Ball Super stole that name. Caulifla, the beautiful secretary. I don't know. It's very interesting. She kicks him accidentally, which was pretty funny because she defends him. He's going to help them out with their ship, of course, and I assume it's not going to cost 300,000 berries. Later, they run into the other members of the crew, the Galley company and whatnot. There's a guy named Rob Lucci, Lucci, and he's got a parrot. It's very interesting. Maybe I misread it, but it seems like he talks through the parrot, through kind of like a ventriloquist dummy. I thought that was interesting. I'm not sure. What do you guys think of that in the comments? This Rob Lucci? Is that how you say it? I'm reading the manga right now, and I'm behind in the anime. So once I see this part in the anime, I'll know how to say it correctly. I don't know. But another member of the Galley company tries to steal some of the Straw Hat's money, but Rob gets it back. Sweet. Awesome. They get secretly attacked by the Franky family, and Usopp, who's carrying 2 briefcases full of 200 million berries. The Franky family take Usopp away and the money secretly, while the Mr. Iceberg and the rest of the Galley company are explaining to Luffy and Nami that the ship has seen... Basically, the Going Merry is done. There's no way to fix it. I even thought as I was reading it, well, what if they just rebuilt the Going Merry with some of the same parts? And they said it's impossible. Even if you rebuilt the ship again, it would never be the same. The wood would be different. This whole spiel. I mean, technically you could build a similar ship and just call it the Going Merry 2. But I get it. They don't want to do that. Fine. Whatever. That's fine. So basically, they explained to Luffy and Nami I can't fix it. And Luffy's like, what the fudge, man? We really want to keep this ship throughout our entire adventure. It was our first ship, and we love it. We love the Going Merry so much. But they explain that you just need to buy a new ship. And really, even if you gave us all of your money, we couldn't fix your ship at all. And eventually, even Luffy, who's got the thickest skull in all of anime, is like, yeah, well, thank you for your honesty, and I will think about this. Nami and Luffy find out that Usopp is missing, along with 200 million berries. Nami finds Usopp. He's beaten the shit. He got his ass kicked by the Franky family, and he's so sad. He can't face the other pirate, the other Straw Hats. He feels just terrible, just awful about the situation. But this is where we get to my favorite part of this first part of the Water 7 arc, to be honest. It's so good. It's so awesome. She rushes back to the crew, and I believe she explains to everybody that what happened, basically. Usopp goes off on his own to go beat up the Franky family or whatever, and just like, I need that money. I want to fix the ship. He's so determined to fix this ship. He's already gotten his ass kicked once. He goes into the Franky family's home and gets his ass kicked a second time. Okay? So this is my favorite part of this arc so far, and it probably will be my favorite part of this whole thing, because I can't imagine them going beyond this. He gets his ass beat a second time. Luffy, Zoro, Sanji, and Chopper find him beaten to a pulp, not dead. And I understand he's not dead. And they go full on battle. Like they legit get into battle mode. Zoro lights a cigarette. Zoro puts his headband on. Luffy gets serious-faced. Chopper gets all buff mode. And they do the long walk to the Franky house. Very reminiscent of the Arlong arc. The Arlong battle where Luffy, Sanji, Zoro, and Usopp marched onto the Arlong Park. And I got chills. I'm telling you right now, this was amazing. They march into the Franky family house, and they are ready to kick ass. This was so freaking cool. It got me so excited, and I am so excited to watch this part in the manga, because I know we're going to get the music. Bang, bang, bang. Bang, boom, bang, boom. Bang, boom, bang. Bang. I know that's going to play when it happens, and it's going to be amazing even the second time. They use all their badass moves. Luffy does his gum. Zoro does his swords. Raven Hunt. Sanji does his kicks. Party table kick course. Even Chopper. Chopper, who was this was one thing that threw me off. So in the Skypiea arc, they kind of made Chopper look like a second Usopp. Like, he's afraid of everything. He wants to be tough, but he's scared. But in this moment, when they were defending Usopp's honor of the member of their crew, a friend, a family member, he went all badass along with Zoro, Sanji, and Luffy, who probably could have done this without him. They beat the shit out of the Franky family. And I'm telling you right now, we're not even done yet. And this is only part of this. This is the reason I wanted to do this in parts instead of the entire arc, because I would have missed something important. They come back to the ship after beating the crap out of the Franky family. Their leader, Franky, bounced with their money and is going to spend it on what I don't know. And they go back to the ship. They see Usopp, who finally wakes up, I assume 24 hours later, because he was badly beaten. He wakes up, and Luffy explains to him the Merry's done. The Going Merry is seeing its last voyage. And Usopp goes nuts. Like, he acts like a freaking baby about it. And what I love is, leading up to this, literally past the Baroque work arc, like before they made it to the Grand Line, I feel like Usopp has been talking about how much he loves the Going Merry, and now he gets in a tiff with Luffy, the captain, and tells him he's a piece of shit, basically. I misjudged you, Luffy. I thought you wouldn't be tricked by these people, basically. And Luffy yells, "Cut the crap!" Pushes Usopp, a very injured Usopp, who probably needs to still be in bed, to the ground, and tells him to cut the crap, and tells him, basically, I'm the captain. I made my decision, and you need to live with it just like I did. And they explained to him, like, Luffy didn't like this either, but he accepted it. Even Sanji, Chopper, and Nami are telling Luffy and Usopp to calm the F down. Like, we are friends, we are family, we are the Straw Hat crew. But what was really interesting is Zoro's sitting there quietly. And Zoro follows Luffy's orders to a T. And he just sits there quietly as everyone's bickering, everyone's telling Luffy to calm down, Usopp to calm down. And then Usopp quits. Usopp quits, and Luffy tells him to beat it, basically. Okay, quitter, bounce. And I'm like, well, that ain't gonna stick, because I know for a fact Usopp sticks with the crew in some way, shape, or form, due to spoilers. But, because I've seen some images of Usopp older, I mean, unless he goes off and forms his own crew, but he challenges Luffy to a fight, and this fight coming up is one of my favorite fights in the entire series so far. I'm telling you that right now. But it has its issues. If you think about this, Usopp got his ass beat twice by the Franky family. And now he wants to fight Luffy, one of our strongest characters, next to right there with Zoro and Sanji. Luffy is so durable, so good at fighting, just a badass all around. And Usopp wants to challenge him like that night or the next day, and it's insane and doesn't make any sense. Usopp is one of the weakest members of the Straw Hat family, of the Straw Hat crew, and he's going to challenge Luffy, who isn't that beat up right now. I don't understand this. Usopp should be in the emergency room right now recovering, but he wants to challenge Luffy? I can look around it, but at the same time, I'm like, you're going to die, man. You are going to die. But boy, was I wrong. I'm not saying that I'm not wrong in the fact that I feel like Usopp needed more time to recover to have a real fight with Luffy and stand an actual chance. But what I really like is that Usopp pulls out all his tricks, his fire star shot, all his slingshot bullshit, all his strategy. He fakes a blood coughing thing with a ketchup star. He uses what I really loved, he used all the dials that he got from the Skypiea that he traded rubber bands for. He uses caltrops to stick into Luffy. He even mentions, like, I know your weaknesses, Luffy, and I know your strength, and I know how to beat you. And he literally gives him a run for his money. He keeps Luffy on his toes, and I assume Luffy was kind of holding back. He knows Usopp's hurt, but it seemed like at some point Luffy said, I'm going to try my hardest, and still had some issues. Like, where was this Usopp when he was fighting the Franky family? Because I feel like if this Usopp, this strategic Usopp, faced the Franky family, he would kick their asses. He's like the Shikamaru of this crew. He comes up with strategies, but maybe he just needs more time to know his opponent, to know their weaknesses, like he does with Luffy. But either way, Usopp loses, and Luffy walks away and says, you can have the Going Merry. And they legit abandon the Going Merry, leave Usopp on it, and says, I'm bouncing. And Zoro completely says, yep, okay, cool. The captain said, this is what's happening. Usopp's out. We're giving him the ship. We're going to get a better ship. They go stay in a damn hotel. The damn mayor, Mr. Iceburg, gets shot by somebody at some point, and he says that Nico Robin was involved. So the whole Straw Hat gang ends up being wanted men in the Water 7 really fast. I'm not sure how much time is passing. We finally get to meet this Franky man, dismantler, and bounty hunter. It's interesting that we're finally getting another bounty hunter, Mr. Franky. I've heard of Franky. I've seen images of Franky online, on the line. And he shows up. He's a total weirdo, wearing a Speedo. Nothing wrong with the Speedo, but he's running around in a Speedo. I love Hawaiian shirts. I don't know what it is about this guy, but I don't like him. I do love Hawaiian shirts, and I love a good Speedo, so I should like him more. Maybe I will down the line. Kind of a weirdo. He challenges Luffy to a fight because Luffy and his buddies, Sanji, Zoro, and Chopper, kicked his family's ass. Luffy goes head to head with this dude. Turns out to be a mother effing cyborg. This is... I know that we've been in the sky. I know there's shark people. And I know there's so much more in this world. I know it's a fantasy land. And I know this. I accept it. But the fact that there's cyborgs now, just... I don't know. Just when I think that I've seen the craziest thing in One Piece, now there's cyborgs. And it almost takes me out of the story, because I want this world to be a world without technology, like slug phone technology, snail phone technology. You know, that's fun. That's fun technology. But now there's a cyborg man named Franky. Like, there hasn't really been any other cyborgs. Is he the only cyborg? Is he the first cyborg? I don't know. They go head to head, but before the fight could even really get going, the damn Water 7 Galley company show up. This group of badasses that we met earlier. And they say, we're here for Luffy. We assume him and his crew hurt Mr. Iceberg. Shit's going down. We're taking him. And they go and basically kick his ass. Franky says, this is my opponent. And he kind of helps Luffy. He helps Luffy out. They're fighting back and forth. It's really interesting. I enjoyed this fight as well. I really liked seeing all this Water 7 group, Company 1, Galley Company, whatever you want to call them. They actually are pretty strong. Honestly, these guys are probably stronger than most of the villains we've seen so far, which is really interesting. Other than somebody like the main villains, they're probably on the same caliber as an Arlong. Each one of them is probably as strong, if not stronger than Arlong, which is insane. And I really wanted Zoro and Sanji to show up and just kick their asses. But I really love that they use tools like saws and chisels and hammers as weapons, like things they would use to fix ships. But thanks to Franky's interference, Luffy and the gang get away. I find out Franky is powered by soda or cola. I assume it's Coca-Cola. I don't know. This cyborg thing really threw me off. I don't know what's going on with that. I'm sure I'll get over it, just like I did with the Sky Island. Just like I'm getting over the fact that literally nobody dies in this damn manga, even though I don't know. Like I said earlier, Usopp got his ass kicked twice, but fought Luffy, our MC. I don't know. Luffy finally gets to see Mr. Iceberg, and he says, I want to see Nico Robin one more time. And says that he was he says she was a part of this. Luffy doesn't believe her. I feel like there's some conspiracy going on. I don't know. There's a lot going on right now. And that's pretty much where I left off here in the Water 7 arc. There's a lot going on with Nico Robin. We got Usopp running around with the ship. Will Usopp start his own crew at this point? I don't know. I'm on chapter 340. So I'm only 18 chapters in, and we've run into the Galley company, the Water 7 crew. We had Usopp versus Luffy, which, like I said, is probably my favorite fight in the entire series so far. Usopp left the crew and now is the captain of the Going Merry, and they're going to buy a new ship. I really don't know. Just when I think I've got a handle on this world, they change the rules, you know, and I just have to accept it and keep on going because it's so good. This manga is so dense. It takes me so long to get through a chapter compared to something like My Hero Academia or even Naruto. I feel like I'm reading a novel on a manga page. There's so many words on each page, and it takes me 5 times longer to get through it than it does any other manga. There's so much to dive into, to dissect, and I feel like even with this part 1 of the Water 7 arc that I'm talking to you right now about, I feel like I'm missing things that are important. But I know that there's something involving Nico Robin. I feel like we are in the Nico Robin arc right now. But we're also developing Usopp at the same time, which is wild. I'm losing my mind. I hope you guys were when you were first experiencing the Water 7 arc. I'm having such a good time, and I hope to get back to you guys with part 2 of this review. I'm Mr. Morfetto. Would you please subscribe? Please tell your friends to subscribe. I'm trying to build up the subscribers. I'm at like 130 right now. I'd love to get to 500 before the end of the year. Mr. Morfetto will talk to you later. Please comment down below. Is there any... I'm trying to come up with more topics to talk about besides reviews on each arc because they're so dense. I would love to have a deep dive on some characters or tell you how I'm feeling about some certain topics, like the fact that there's 0 deaths in this freaking manga. Or talk about characters' backstories or theories. Just give me some ideas in the comments and I will make a video about it. Just give me something right down below in the comments. Like this video. Please tell me what you think of my reviews. I will talk to you later.